Monday morning at the foundry. My foundry is very clean. I cleaned it after I finished the water tank project. And my project now is I want to build a roll around cart for the welding machine at my home wood workshop. I want it to roll around. For one, I want it to be a closed-in cabinet so I can minimize the dust like on all my other projects there. And other than that, I don't really know what I want. I have this. Well, if you watch my videos in the past, you know I don't usually buy stuff. I make do. This was the table for the big thickness sander that I replaced with a closed-in wooden cabinet. And it's pretty stout. It's got a weird shape. This was a base that came with my new blower that I didn't use. So this is brand new. And it comes with some pretty nice casters in 3 corners. I don't know why 3 and not 4. This is a flat sheet. This was an electrical box cover. And I do have some bed frame angles. I don't like working with it because it's tempered and it's really hard to drill a hole. But it's pretty good stuff and they're straight. So I got 2 shorties and 3 longies. And this is regular mild steel angle. So somehow with all this stuff, I'm going to make it. And I don't have a problem using plywood for the sides. And I don't really have a problem using plywood for the bottom or anything, but I want to make do with what I have, and I have this steel, so let's see what we can do. This electrical panel door is the size I wanted for the bottom. It's perfect. It's within about 1 inch on both ways, and it has a nice little flange around it. I'll get rid of the hinge and the 2 latches. And then I think if I put this 1x1 square tube in here on each end, and then put this 1x1 angle lengthwise, I can drill and use the casters that came with the blower support that I didn't use. And that'll take care of the base, and we'll move on from there. So I got a lot of cutting and grinding to do to get this cleaned up, but let's get started. Okay, 2 little latches came off pretty easy. I just drilled them and chiseled. The hinges was more challenging. I thought I could get the pin out and just leave the bottom part, but it wasn't happening. So I just took the grinder and cut off all the rivets. And now we're going to clean it up, and we'll be ready to clean up the braces and start putting them in. So this big old grinder is heavy. It can be scary. The wheels cost a lot more than the little grinder, and the wheels are a real pain to change just the way the thing's set up. But my shaky hands are hard to hold the little grinder straight, and I can hold the big grinder straight because I can rest it on my belly. So if I need an accurate cut, I go with the big boy. So the reinforcing frame is tacked together. I got the holes drilled for the wheels. I'm going to take it out and weld it like as best I can because it needs to be pretty strong. And then we'll tack it to the sheet metal. And I'm having trouble with the welding machine. Man, it's a pain when you get old and all these tools you spent so much money on, they start wearing out on you. I just had to change the whip. My hood's not working especially well. Boy, oh boy. Okay, but we're gonna weld it one way or the other. So my reinforcing frame for the base is all done. I got the holes drilled for the wheels. I got an extra bar across the middle because that welding machine is pretty heavy and this is pretty thin metal. So I'm gonna grind these little bumps a little bit and try to decide what we're gonna do with the legs to hold it up, to hold up the rest of it. Okay, I'm cutting my verticals out of bed frame material. It's angle, it's great stuff. It's always straight, it's really light, it's thin. Until you have to drill it, and it must be tempered because it's very hard to drill. But hopefully we won't have to do that. I'm gonna cut 4 pieces 30 inches long. We'll get them stood up straight and weld them onto the base. You can tell by the sparks that these bed frame material is a high carbon steel. The sparks have their own sparks, and those sparks have their own sparks too. So it's really it's a pretty spark shower, and people that
know what they're doing can kind of tell what kind of steel it is. I can't really. I just know there's a lot of carbon in it and it's hard. Okay, we got it tacked. Put a square on it and make sure you're still good before I weld it out. And then we can weld out all 4 of them. So that took a while. The bottom is anchored to the table, and the table's flat with a clamp and a weight. And then these legs were kind of going in the wrong directions. So I fought with it for a little while. Anyway, eventually I got this one plumb and I got it welded so it stays plumb, and then I had to weld the table itself down because it kept moving around. And once I got this one welded plumb, I pulled this one up with a little, whatever you call that, a rope and a twisty deal, and the other ones are all good. So it's all clamped, it's all the same height. I might have to trim these legs a little bit, but right now it's all the same. It's all the same height. So I'm hoping that when I get it all welded out, this little issue will resolve itself. But let's get up there and put some weld on it. So it's a new day. I came yesterday afternoon and did the top rails, or whatever you want to call it, and that was about it. I'm not much good in the afternoon, so I worked all morning volunteering for a local park, and guess what I do? I cut down Chinese tallow trees in the woods, and also paper mulberry trees, which is another big invasive problem around here. And now I'm at my foundry looking out the back, and you see all these trees that are coming over my fence and growing through the fence? These are paper mulberries, and they weren't even here 2 years ago. Now this tree's like a foot in diameter, so I'm gonna go cut on these and poison them while it's cool this morning. I don't really care if stuff grows back there, but I don't want to lose my fence that I put up through great effort. I want to at least get them back so they don't take over the fence, and then we'll get back to the table. Okay, I need a top. I could do a plywood top, but I kind of want something that I can weld on and use as a ground and not have to worry about it burning up. So, in continuing my policy of not buying anything, I have 3 pieces that I could use. This is the base for the new dust collector that I bought for the foundry that I didn't use the base. And it's kind of lightweight, but the advantage is it has this nice finished edge all the way around. And I wouldn't even have to cut it. The length is exactly right, and the width would hang over about 1 inch on each side. But it's kind of light. I could put some braces under it. I don't know. I really don't want to make it any wider than I already have it, because it's going to be against the wall. So I'm nixing that one. I have this metal, which is a lot thicker. This is a full 1/8 of an inch, I believe. This is left over from the right-hand door of this little sea can that was mangled when I got it, which is why I got it, because we couldn't lock it anymore at work. And this is the last little piece left from it. I'd have to cut it and patch it. I'd have to patch a piece like this from this piece, which is kind of a pain. But it is a little heavier. Or I can use this, which looks like 5/16. And all we need to do is cut it and fit it and stick it up there and weld it. It's kind of heavy. Well, it is heavy. But it's about 1/3 too big, so I'd be cutting about 1/3 of it off. So I think I'm gonna go with the heavy stuff. I'm gonna put it up there and mark it and cut it with the big grinder and just go with it. I'm a little concerned that between the weight of this and the weight of the welding machine, which is really heavy, that I will flat spot these. Oh no, these are plastic wheels. They won't flat spot. Anyway, if they do, I'll change them for metal wheels. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a heavier top.
and put it on there, and the rest, everything else is going to be wood. So once the top's on, I can paint it and then bring it home. It's clamped and it's marked and I'm ready to cut. I'm not going to film it. It's going to be kind of boring, but I am going to time it because I'm curious. I'm going to guess 5 minutes, but it's strictly a guess, and I'm probably going to have to change my wheel in the middle, and I don't have the right wrench for this grinder, so it is always a big pain to change the wheel. But I'll stop the clock and start over. I want to know how long it's going to take. Cutting was going well, but I had some concerns about the plate swinging into my shin or falling on my foot, so I stopped, put a little brace on top. Just under 6 minutes, and I didn't drop it on my foot, and I'm still on the same wheel. Amazing. So I spent a bit easing the edges and rounding the sharp corners, and put the wire cup on top, got rid of some of that rust. Turned out to be a decent little piece of steel. I think we're ready to weld. Okay, we have an upside down table all welded up. I'm fixing to put the wheels on it. I'm going to turn it over and adjust the wheels if I need to put a washer under one or two of them so it won't rock. Now, it's not a machinist table, it's just a table because it is a little warped. I don't know, I tried to not let it get warped, but it got warped, so it'll do fine for me. And I used up some of the crap I got laying around here, so that's another plus for me. So let's put the wheels on it and turn it over and see how flat it'll be. I really underestimated the degree of difficulty of getting these little wheels bolted down. My fingers will not fit underneath that steel. So I've got to hold a nut, balance the washer on top, the shaft is through the washer, but the nut's too low. So I've got to pick the nut up by prying up the pliers with the screwdriver. Then turning. Oh man, this one went right in. And turning this little middle part to get it threaded. Still holding it with the pliers. Okay, this one made it look easy. The other one wasn't so easy. Now I'm gonna put the wrench on it. Grab this bearing with the pliers. Turn it. All right, 3 down, 1 to go. So the rock's here on the concrete, which really doesn't mean anything. I meant to leave it up there on that flat table to adjust them or to see if I need to shim any of the wheels. So anyway, let's go get some lunch. We'll come back and that'll be what we'll do. All right, we're back up on the table and there's very little wobble here. Must have been on a crooked spot in the concrete, but there's a little bit. But if I put this washer under this wheel, it seems to be
God, it's really hard to tell because there's some play in the bearings of the wheels. But I think that'll do it. So I'm gonna flip the thing upside down again and put this washer between the wheel and the frame. And I could get rid of that. That's kind of tacky looking. And then I might try to do something about this angle being tempered and hard to drill in, because I'm gonna have to drill some holes in it when I get home. I may put the torch on it all. Okay, I got it. I don't know how to film this, but there's no wobble. So, I'm gonna put the torch on this steel and get it hot and let it cool slow, and that should anneal it. It may take too long with the torch, but I'm gonna go give it a try. Okay, I'm going back to my college class on steel, and to temper steel, you typically heat it hot and then quench it real fast, and to anneal steel to make it softer, you typically heat it and let it cool down slow. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. I got it up to a dull red glow. It's kind of hard to tell, and I just did all four angles, both sides of all of them, and had my fingers crossed that it might help, but in the end it didn't work. So I'm getting ready to actually make something in my shop besides fixing the shop. Well, I don't know, I guess you could call this fixing the shop, but I'm gonna finish making this cabinet. I'm gonna put sides on it, you know, dealing with the dust. Bought another new sheet of plywood, so I'm gonna rip it, and from one 8-foot piece I can go all the way around. So I just need to rip it from under here to down here. I can't get so low that it interferes with the wheel spinning. I don't have to go that low. So we're gonna make one 8-foot rip. Should be a non-event, and there should be no dust because I have super duper dust collection now. Turn on the blower. Turn on the vacuum cleaner. And start this off. I wish I could claim credit for this, but I can't. This little table rolled around is an excellent table to hold stuff from falling off the table saw, because it's just a little bit lower. So when I cross cut that long piece of plywood, instead of having it fall on the ground or trying to hold it up from falling on the ground, or having it falling over and breaking the plastic, it just falls on the table. And when I don't need it, I'm gonna put it back where it goes. So yeah. So I have to fit these two side panels. So I think I'll take the welder off real quick and lay this over on its side. And I'll find out if my tempering, if my annealing of the steel did any good. So remember when I mentioned that the bed frame material is really, really hard and it's hard to drill? And I thought I had annealed it with the torch, but it's really, really hard and it's hard to drill. And I'm burning up screws. These are self-drilling, self-tapping. Of course, they are stainless. Stainless is a little softer than normal. It just burnt the end off of that one. But this one is steel, and it burnt the end off of that one. And I'm pre-drilling. I'm trying to pre-drill. So yeah, it's a headache. So I'm gonna take the plywood off and see what kind of holes I can drill. If I can drill a big hole, I'll use a bolt with a nut on the back. Well, I'm just burning up drill bits. I know how to drill a hole. I know how to go slow and push hard and use oil. This stuff's just hard as the drill bit. So I've gotten one hole all the way through. I've gotten a partial hole. I've got a partial hole and a partial hole and then almost a partial hole, and then the bit dies. So what I'm gonna do is put this back in the truck, and next time I go to the foundry, I'm gonna burn holes with the torch, and we're gonna bolt it through burn hole torch holes. Because yeah, all of these bits are pretty much trash now. I used to be able to resharpen them, but I can't see that well anymore. And two of these were brand new that just came out of the box. Well, more than two. This one was brand new, and this one was brand new, and now they're trash. So yeah, I knew it was coming. I thought I might have helped out with the torch and annealing it, but apparently not. So kind of stuck for the day. Well, it's early in the morning. I'm supposed to be home convalescing, but Debbie went swimming, so I snuck over to the foundry, and I'm burning these holes with the plasma torch. Well, I messed up. I hope that doesn't surprise anybody. This was as wide as the sheet was that I cut this out of, so I couldn't make it any wider. But I could have made it way wider this way. And I don't think I have it wide enough to put a ground clamp on there, or just a C-clamp. It's just maybe a ½ inch. So I'm gonna cut some dewlaps, probably 3. So I'll be able to slide a clamp past the plywood before I bolt this plywood on. So I got my first panel clamped into place. I got my little doo-wops cut for clamps, and I'm gonna have to drill from the inside out from where I burnt these holes this morning, and they look like an old shaky-handed blind man burn them, so maybe my bolts won't line up too great, but it's the way it is. The side one all bolted up, and because I cleaned my shop and sorted all my nuts and bolts, I got matchy-matchy, and I got 6 more matchy-matchy for the other side. This is much not like me. Okay, the sides are on, the machine's sitting in the box. From the top of the handle to the bottom of this angle iron, I have 10 inches. I want to put drawers up here. And also at the end, so the drawers will seal off this much, and then the bottom, I'm gonna have to put some kind of door so I can open it when it runs for cooling, but I would like for it to be closed all other time for dust. Now, I had these drawer glides on hand, not from the shop remodel, they were just here, I just found them. They're not the same length, this one's a little bit longer, but I think I'll put a pair of drawers on this end, little shorties, little bitties, and just put one big deep drawer on this end to make it maybe even be able to fit my welding hood in it. So that's the plan. I gotta somehow or another mark parallel lines. I gotta frame out flush with here to put the glides on, and then make some drawers. Okay, I have installed support for the drawer runners. It's just a 2x4 ripped in half. Comes out flush, almost. And I did a nice, neat job laying out the screws, all the same kind, same length. Awesome. So somewhere along the line I got crooked. I've been hiding it from you. It's embarrassing, but in order to make these drawer glides come out flush with the back of this angle, come out flush, they got to overhang a little bit. Now, I don't think it's gonna hurt anything, but I thought I had this thing pretty square, but apparently not. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip it over and put the ones on the other side. It's easier to work downhill than trying to hold them up. Well, I've never measured and built a drawer and installed it on its side before, but it works pretty good. Maybe I should always do this. It didn't come out as big as I thought
the space is going to be smaller. But that's okay. We're using it for something. And now we're going to build 2 identical drawers that'll be shorter for this side. All right, I got the 2 little drawers on the other side. This bottom one kind of has me stumped. It's really tight. It might be the drawer glides themselves. I think they were full of sawdust. They were up on the shelf. But anyway, I think I have another pair. I might swap them out because the drawer fit is correct. It's real tight. So I'm gonna put it on the ground, work on the face frames and the bottom doors on the ground. And I should be able to put the welding machine in for keeps, I think. Ooh, almost missed something. Just realized something. I'm gonna have to cut a big door in this side to allow access to the spool gun and the internal stuff. No reason I can't do it. I need to decide which way to put the hinges, etc. But in the meantime, I'm gonna put it in there to get it off the floor, sweep my floor, and start thinking about the fronts for these doors and the doors here and how I'm gonna all make them look halfway decent. So this is the door for cooling for the well, access to the welding machine and cooling. It's gonna need to be open when I'm working with the welding machine. If I put a hinge on one side, it's just gonna open up straight out, which is not good, or straight sideways, which is not good. I could cut it in half and make a bifold, but I hate bifolds. They always don't seem to fit right. So I think I'm gonna put a hinge on both sides and cut it down the middle. And then it will be sticking out when I'm welding, but that's just, I can live with that. It's only 7 inches or so. And I'll do that on the other end too. And then we'll put faces on these, and then we can sand and paint. Might get this thing painted today. I put the hinges on both sides, and now I'm gonna take them off and cut it in half. And I did that because I think it's gonna make it easier for me to line these things up when I put them back, because they already have holes. They should line up. Don't have any more pairs of the nice stainless steel hinges. We're gonna have to go with nickel plated bronze, which are kind of, don't have much nickel left on them, but I got them. So we're gonna put them on there. So I ripped up some little strips and glued them and nailed them from the inside. And then I put a piano hinge on here that I had. So this will be the access for the spool gun, which I hadn't used it yet. I don't know if I'll ever use it on this machine. But anyway, we have access now if we need it. And let's work on the ends. All right, so the other end is finished carpentry wise. Now I need to take it all apart and sand and paint, and then get some magnetic latches, which I have lots of. Keep these doors from flapping open. Yeah, pretty nice little cabinet. Hopefully I can get all the accessories that came with this machine in this one cabinet, because right now some of them are here and some of them are over at the foundry. And if somebody found them over there, they wouldn't know what in the world they were. So anyway, all right, let's take it apart and mark all these hinges, because everyone's a little bit different from where the holes start in relation to the end of the hinge. So they're all gonna be a little different. Well, it's finished. This is my little welding machine cabinet. It's got some good points and it's got some limitations. The good point is I now have a steel surface to work on when I weld in this shop, my woodworking shop, which is very rare. I did a bunch of it 2 years ago when Debbie had some big sculptures going to Detroit that needed some stainless steel frames. And that might have been the last time I used this machine. And since then, it's been sitting getting covered with dust. I opened it up, it was all full of dust. Yeah, so this is going to keep the machine clean and just basically storage. It's not the most practical because I can't put the cables on it with the door shut. So if I want to use it, I got to put the cables on, which is not that big a deal really. We've got a little drawer here for some strikers and some tip cleaners. I think that's floats. And this drawer was real stiff, but I gave it some WD-40 and now it's working better. And there's the ground and the whip. So I didn't put handles on these doors because I can grab the bottom. And this door on the side, this door here, folds up and locks. And this is to get to the
spools. Well, we got a cable in the way. To change spools on the gun, well, this is for making or using a little spool gun, which I have not done with this machine. I only stick welded. But anyway, we can get to it now without pulling it out of the cabinet. Close this door. That hasp on it. And then over here, this is the other end of the machine. And it needs to be open when welding because the air has to flow through here. I got some old rods stuck there. They're probably all no good. They're so old. And this drawer was big enough, or is big enough, for my hood and my glasses. And this little baby is gonna live